So I started following this guy on TikTok after I saw a part of this video, and I said, you know what, let me save it for later. Let me watch it. I already reposted it, but I figured I could watch it, reshare it on other platforms because at the end of the day, if a lot of men don't speak up about their experience in the family court, people will never pay attention. So if they see a story like this, they might actually say, wow, if it happens to them, they could see where their case is going and maybe make different decisions. But his situation is kind of, I wouldn't say unique, but it's definitely a tough one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kazim. Just getting on here again. Just want to talk to you guys about my experience in child custody. If you do want to share, please do. If you want to follow, please do. It's always a tough topic for me to talk about. It's tough for me because I never grew up with I didn't grow up with a father, so I know how important it is for me to be in my children's life. But ever since this child custody took place 3.5 years ago, has basically stripped away all my rights to my children. It has put me in a position where I have to do everything the mother wants and does. And she's been doing that since 3.5 years, in which Contra Costa County has favored her 100% of the time. So much so that I am left with just 2 days out of the entire month with my children. You can say it's my fault. You can say it's not. It's up to you guys' opinion on that matter, or the judge opinion, who was Ayanna K. Young. I just I just don't want people to get their hopes up when they go to child custody and think that just because you're a good parent that things are going to go your way. It's not going to go your way, because the whole, at least my experience is, the more.
Okay, so full transparency, while I do agree with him in terms of like not going into court thinking that you're absolutely going to win, I don't want people to go to court thinking that they're already defeated because a lot of people will tell you that the family court is against the dad. But I will say, if you go in with that mindset, you might lose the battle because you got to make sure that you still do everything that you can and, try to learn as much as you can about your case and the law because at the end of the day, yes, the courts are biased against dads, and every court is different, but the same. So there are great stories out there where some dads are winning in family court, but there are definitely some counties where it's a lot harder. I've spoken to lawyers about that, and they told me like I'm talking about lawyers in Florida. They'll tell me like, yeah, over here is not the same as where I'm at, which is in South Florida. They'll say some of these judges, they don't believe in 50-50, and so you have a dad who is fit for 50-50, and he might not get it just based on the judge that he gets, and there might be another judge in that same county that's fine with 50-50. So those are things you need to consider, but definitely don't try to go into court with this mindset of I'm going to lose. Just know it's not going to be easy.
More damage that happens to the children, that's the environment that they should live in. Like, my children are damaged. It's a tough thing for me to say to the world. Like, they're damaged. And I can't fix them because the courts won't give me time with them. Everything is always subjective. Like, it's always one person's opinion over the next person's opinion. But the truth is the matter, every parent deserves a right to parent their children, and each child has a right to have deserving parents in their life. Is my actions justified? I wasn't able to facilitate the exchanges to go 100% flawlessly. So if I, in a nutshell, I have teenage children, so I would drive to the location and furnish the children to the mother, but they would refuse to get out of the car on these exchanges, or the mother has difficulties retrieving the children as teenagers. And I begged Diana, like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to drag these teenagers out the car? But she places 100% responsibility on me. And then her punishment, so she holds me in contempt of court without a contempt of court hearing. So her punishment is to remove my legal rights, remove my physical custody rights, deny me of more time with my children. Like, This is the outcome of not forcefully removing your children out of the car. Or even if you call the cops, they'll come to the scene and talk with the children and say, hey, why do you don't want to go with the other parent? The children specifically says they felt unsafe. And that's not adequate evidence for Aiyana Young. There's nothing that I can possibly do in the courts of Contra Costa County would allow them to give me more time. All because a mother decided to bring this court case because she wanted to steal the children away from me. She basically said that she doesn't want me to she don't want me to have any time with the children. I'm undeserving because I left her, and she's going to do whatever she can to make sure that my life is miserable, consequently using the children as pawns.
Hey, a lot of people actually deal with that, but if you're a mom and you say that, you are more likely to have people believe you. But when dads say that, people start looking at us crazy, like, nah, you had to do something wrong. There's something you did wrong why she's doing that. And I believe him. I believe him.
I got into this situation all because I filed court papers before all this happened. I filed emotional abuse, that the stuff that the children were telling me, I basically gave to Aiyana K. Young. This has never been about my words. These are always the children's words in all my declarations. And usually my declarations are like 100 pages because that's the only time that I actually have an ability to speak in the courtroom, because Aiyana Young will always cut me off. It's always her way or no way. It's her emotions or her feelings or how she grew up and what's right for the children. This is what I'm up against. So I have to prepare documentation on my own, 100 pages usually. There's like possibly like 2,000 pages over the course of over 3 years. I have to go to law library to find out what kind of codes that are relevant to allow me more time with the children. And every time I read about family law, it's always about the best interest of the children. Continuous and frequent contact between both parents. For the last 3.5 years, I only had 20% time with my children. And I'm begging the mother for more time. I'm begging the courts for more time. I'm begging the courts to have the mother meet me half the distance. I'm begging the mother to involve me in the decision-making process when I did have 50-50 custody. I had 50-50 legal and physical custody of my kids until Aiyana K. Young took over the case. This is supposed to be temporary. She's like, oh, well, we're going to give the mother temporary custody. And then once you go to the hearing, then we're going to reinstate your custody. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I did everything I was supposed to do with Aiyana Young, and still those temporary orders became permanent. These are the harsh punishments of Aiyana K. Young. Is it justified or is it not? If the only thing that they have and say that I violated court orders was not being able to facilitate the exchanges to go flawlessly, then that's it. What else do you have? Now they want to make up some things that, oh, he's manipulating the children. I'm the non-custodial parent that has been deprived of time with my children based on the mother's wishes. It's all her. She's always going to be the root cause of it. Why can't you just do a fair ruling and give me ample time with my children?
So yeah, if you get a bad lawyer or a bad judge on your case can be ruined. In his situation, it looks like he's pro se. And when you're a pro se, you have to do your research. He says he's doing the research, but if the judge favors the other parent, then you're going to be in trouble. Now, I'm not saying that if you represent yourself pro se, you don't stand a chance. It really depends on your case. And in his case, it looks like they're saying that he's manipulating the children. So, mom, she might have a lawyer and they just, use the scenario against him, because what am I supposed to do if my teenage daughter doesn't want to go to her mom? Of course, I could tell her, yo, you got to go to your mom. But, when they become teenagers and you tell them to go to their mom, the exchange is happening. You say, hey, we're here, go to your mom's car, and they just sit in your car saying, hey, I don't want to go to mom's car because it's dangerous over there. Her husband is beating on me. You're gonna want to protect your kids. You're gonna say, you know what? I tried. I tried to get them to go to you, but they're saying that they don't want to be there. So, it's a tough situation for him, because it sounds like that wasn't the original judge on this case. And so, this case got taken over by this judge. And like I said previously, that Lawyers have told me in Florida, because they're in another part of Florida. They're in the north. I'm in the south. And they're telling me that there are judges out there that they just don't believe in 50-50. And he maybe ran into that judge in his area. Maybe she doesn't believe in 50-50. And so that's why she tricked him out of it. Because, they told him they're going to do a temporary custody situation. And he said, you know what? It's temporary. It'll go back to the way it was. This is why in my case, when my lawyer was trash, because I had two lawyers, first lawyer was like, oh, we're going to go temporary Thursdays to Monday or something like that. Like, I think it was a 30-70 split. And I said to myself, like, no, I asked for 50-50. I don't want to do that temporarily because it's COVID. What if I get stuck in that temporary arrangement of 30% of the time? And that's exactly what would have happened, because when I was supposed to go back in front of the judge to dispute the 50-50, our case got pushed back. And so if I would have had the first trash lawyer had me settle for the temporary situation that wasn't temporary 50-50, I would have got stuck with that. So you got to be careful with these temporary changes in your custody plan. But I don't know. He's pro se, so you would think he did all his research and he probably said to himself like, man, I'm just gonna trust the system, and the system screwed him over. So I'm gonna include his TikTok in the description. So if you want to follow Dad, go ahead and follow Dad. You can reach out to him on his TikTok.